And welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting this morning. And if you'll bear with me, this is my first time having to take the seat. So unfortunately, the chairman, Brian, had an emergency to go to this morning. At this time, we'd ask for you to silence all your phones, any electronic devices. And we will ask Chief Danny Stevens to do the invocation. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you, Lord, this morning. Thank you for your many blessings that you bestowed upon us. Lord, we ask that you be with the members of the County Board of Commissioners as they conduct this meeting, Lord. We ask that it be a productive meeting. And as always, glorify your name and your kingdom. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is to adopt the agenda for the day, but we want to make a change and add number 7 on there. This will be to allow our county attorney Nathan to take a look into the laws and legalities to develop a referendum for countywide liquor sales in the future on one of the ballots. I guess would be next year's election cycle. But so that'll be number 7 that we'll add to it. Can I get a motion to amend the agenda?
There can be any changes, huh?
Second.
What's that?
Motion second. Motion second.
Okay, with that being said, is there any other changes that need to be done? Or can we get a vote on that? So that being said, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? No? Oh, I thought it was just for that change and then, okay. All right, so we'll go right on into presentations. Okay. There's not any, okay. All right, then we'll move right on into the finance report. Mr. Bill?
Mr. Vice Chair, you got the report in front of you this morning, nothing out of the ordinary except for the EMS fund. You see there's $130,000 there. I picked up a check this morning for $123,000. That's the largest check we've gotten from them in can't remember when, several years probably. And I owe that to the work that Chief Stevens and his staff and the billing company done to get that program straightened out, so we're able to bill as much as we can. They in turn collect as much as that's good news there. And that's all I got on this report, unless you got any questions. I do have a couple of other things. We'll be closing out the month of March and next week or so, which will be 6 months into the budget year. So we'll be setting up meetings with the department heads and constitutional officers to go over their progress of their budget and see if there's anything that out of the ordinary that the board might need to know about. Coming back to you, sorry, toward the end of the month. And speaking of budget, it's budget time's rolling around, and the agencies that the board, that the county supports, such as the library, the health department, and district attorney's office, public defenders, their budgets, they're on the state budget cycle, so their budgets start 7/1. So you guys will need to approve their subsidies to them at your June, the night meeting at the end of June. So we'll gather all their requests and present them to you no later than the morning meeting in June, probably the May night meeting, but no later than June morning, so y'all can consider them. And any increases that they request, we'll have them at that meeting to present that to you. Reasons why they want the funds. And with that, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Any questions from the board?
I have one that's, when you finalize the first 6 months, can we get a forecast of what the budget looks like?
Yeah.
6+6.
We'll prepare something for you to, hopefully by the night meeting at the end of this month.
Thank you.
Anything else? Good. All right, thank you, Bill. We'll move right on into citizens' comments.
No one signed up. to speak.
Is that,
There's no one signed up to speak.
okay? So then we'll go right into the minutes from our March 28th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes, and is there any changes you think need to be made, or we'll get a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? With that going said, we're going to be going right on into some public hearings. I need to make a motion to go into the public hearing first.
Motion to go into public hearing. For case number 2023-001.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
906.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is case number 2023-001. This is rezoning from LDR to LDR special use. Gray Spence for Fortified Telecom Services is requesting special use in the LDR for the approval to install a cell tower at 53334 Alberton. It is a 155-foot monopole tower and surrounded by a 75 by 75 compound. And the property is a 100 by 100 leased area. The planning board recommended approval for the 100 by 100 leased area to be rezoned from LDR to LDR special use for the cell tower. And Mr. Spence is here today.
Who is here?
Mr. Spence.
Come on. When's the last time y'all spoke with the landowner? He's called me with some questions this morning before the meeting, and said he hasn't heard anything from y'all. It doesn't have a clue what's going on. Said he was aggravated and frustrated with it. And he was asking us to either table it or take it completely off the board, that he really didn't care to do it anymore. But I'll just let you tell us what information you got, and we'll go from there. But
well, we signed an amendment with them just a couple of months ago because we moved the property. We've continued to have to shift the tower on that parcel because of the development on his main parcel that was behind it. And he signed that amendment just a couple of months ago, signed our owner authorization form for us to be here.
Okay.
Now we went to the original meeting, and then, I mean, it's probably been a month since our planning commission meeting, because we weren't on the 3/28. I guess the March 28th meeting was to reset it and to this date as far as the Board of Commissioners meeting. But no, I haven't spoken to Mr. Worcester anytime recently, which is not uncommon once we take over doing the
and what would be the timeline if it's approved before y'all would actually start doing something with it?
It's on the build plan for 2023, so it's by the end of the year is what the proposed time frame would be for the tower being there.
Okay. I think that was one of his concerns, is he didn't want to move forward now, then he's kind of locked, can't do nothing with that property. In 2 or 3 years from now, he's still waiting for Verizon to do something. So
We do have the letter that he signed.
with that,
We do have the letter that he signed.
okay. Then I'm fine with that. We'll move forward.
Okay, sure.
You got a motion for the floor?
Since it's a public hearing,
Oh.
the applicant, I understand the applicant has the opportunity to go first, and then y'all get it from the public.
Okay.
Or against if anyone wants to speak.
That's you.
Okay. My name is Greg Spence. I am with Fortified Telecom Services, real estate broker for Verizon out of the Georgia, Alabama market for about the last almost 20 years. They are looking to build a monopole, 155 foot, that is capable of holding additional carriers as per the code, which also gives Meriwether County space on the tower for E911 services and otherwise for county equipment if needed. The monopole that we're putting up is the least visually intrusive style of tower that there is. There's guide towers that have the big guy wires that come down that take up a lot of property. The self-support towers are a lattice X bracing that go up. They're a lot wider base. This is just a single stick with the antenna equipment at the top. The way that we were set, we originally applied before Mr. Worcester had gone into development of that back parcel. So we ended up, in order to meet the ordinance without any variances or otherwise that were needed for this, we centered the tower on that parcel to where, if by chance that a catastrophic event ever occurred and the tower fell like a tree, which they're not designed to do, then it would be maintained within the parcel. It does not cross any other parcel lines. We meet that height of tower setback. It's also set back almost 400 feet off the main highway, that so that as it goes back down the access road, the tower compound is shifted to the left. So as you go driving by, there's enough tree coverage there that you're not even really going to see the base of the tower or any of the fencing and so forth that goes around there. So as Verizon has looked to develop this site, it has gone out 2 miles, and there are no other co-location opportunities within that 2 mile range that meets the objectives of RF. So the proposed tower height is the minimum height, because we have also reduced that. They originally wanted 185 feet so that it would go better with the surrounding network. They've been able to cut that down so that they are able to maintain the ordinance of 155-foot level. And this is mainly the height is minimum height needed to properly provide improved rural coverage and accommodate anticipated future growth for wireless demand in the area. So the tower is not lit, so therefore it will not be seen at night. And it is typically battleship gray, which is the majority of the galvanized steel towers that you see that are out there. So it doesn't reflect, doesn't have glare, doesn't do any type of reflection in that manner. The FAA and the antenna structure registration forms, Verizon has gone through the NEPA process and has been approved by the FCC in order to build this at this location. And let me just double check and see if there is anything else I need to add. Don't believe so. Again, it was just located due to the fact that there are no other co-location opportunities in the area, but within 2 miles, which is a very large zone to not have coverage for the carriers. This will be built to accommodate additional carriers that move into the area as per your ordinance. So I'll happily answer any questions that you may have regarding the location or siting.
Any questions from the board?
What is the impact to the tax digest of reclassing this section of property?
It's just value based upon, I mean, everything's based upon fair market value. So you have to ask your folks over the appraisal office. I don't know what a cell tower does. So I don't know how much taxes it throws off. But whatever the value of that improvement, they will be taxed upon that value.
And Verizon pays that directly. That's not on the landowner.
Okay.
Got a question, Doctor. You mentioned the provide space for the county's emergency equipment. That will be at no cost to the county, correct?
It's at no cost to the county, but what it does, you would have to assist in performing the structural analysis to make sure that the county equipment would fit on there. And that's usually about $2,500 for just to make sure that the equipment is but there's no structural. As we get additional carriers on and everything else, every time that an antenna modification is performed, it goes along with a permitting requirement that you have a passing structural.
We do that analysis, or who does it?
Generally, if you're going to put well, it would go, generally you want to use the same structural engineer that performed the structural last time. That way, not having to map the tower to see all the equipment that's up there. It's a much more efficient and less expensive type of proposition when running that. So there's as Verizon builds the tower, there's contact information. You can't just go and put equipment on the tower. You still have to make sure that there's record of the equipment that's going on there. But the space is no less than 120 feet, and it's 10 foot of vertical space, which is what the carriers typically use.
Okay. So typically, we would have to pay for the cost to assess, could it carry the weight of whatever we want to put on there. we would cover our own installation cost. We would not be paying a lease to Verizon for that tower space.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Make sure I'm saying you're willing to proffer as a condition that the county could co-locate on the tower so long as they pay the engineering costs.
Correct. Yes. And that's in the application materials as well.
I'll help that y'all when it comes time for a motion, depending on what y'all want to do.
And the only other consideration we were asking is for a landscape buffer to be waived up and until there's a point that it would be needed because the area is wooded. We have to clear more trees to plant trees around the base of around the exterior of the compound. So the condition that the planning commission had put in was that so long as the tree cover is appropriate for screening of the tower itself, that we would like to not have to go plant a buffer. If and at any point that the county decides that it's too visible, we want to see the buffer, we'll put the buffer in, no problem.
Yeah, I looked at the property right now. There'd be no reason to plant anything. It's got plenty of cover.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
That all you have?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we'll see if there's anybody from, is
Since it's a public hearing, you need to hear if anybody else would like to speak for or against.
there anybody here today to speak about the cell tower one way or the other? I guess not.
All right, so then y'all can close the public hearing unless you have any other questions for your staff. And then you guys got to make a decision.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we have closed that public hearing. Now we're back to get a motion from the board. Take action.
This is your district. You're familiar with it. Would you like to make the motion?
I'll be glad to. I'd make a motion that we approve the cell tower and I hope it does continue in a timely manner.
You want to place a condition on that
Condition.
approval that the county be allowed to co-locate so long as it pays the engineering costs?
Exactly.
Right, that your motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for coming out today, sir. We'll move on to case 2023 002, Brandon F. Steets request to rezone 2 acres from LDR to neighborhood commercial for the use of a home-based tree service business. And this is known as tax map 118013. Can we have a motion to go into a public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are now into a public hearing.
All right.
Sandra.
This case has been requested by the applicant to be continued. And then I think you guys have to choose the date and time for that continuation. He was unable to be here today.
So commissioners, what that means is if, by law, your staff has to advertise this thing in the newspaper in order, so the public has knowledge. So if the board wants to continue, if y'all don't want to take action today and want to continue it, in order to not have to re-advertise, you would need to have a motion to continue it, the public hearing, motion to continue the public hearing, to whichever meeting you wanted to have it. But then also, if anybody came here today to speak because they saw the ad, y'all also entitled to let them speak today.
Definitely.
And then they can come back and speak again if they want to, but that's your guys' decision, what you want to do.
I'll make a motion to table it, move it to the May 10th.
Continue the public hearing.
Public hearing to May 10th.
But to allow those who are here to speak, still speak today.
Well, you need to let the people speak before you continue. the
Let's do
public
that,
hearing.
yeah.
All right. let's do
Okay.
that.
All right, so since there's no one here from Mr. Epstein to represent him to speak on his behalf, do we have anyone here today to speak for or against the rezoning of this property?
Yes.
Okay, well, who would like to come on up first?
His name and address.
Make sure it's in the final sheet.
Would you please give us your name and address, sir?
Roger McFarland. I live at 1051 Bill Todd Road. I've been living there for 30 years. I'm opposed to the zoning being changed. When I bought the property from Greenville Bank, it was years ago. It was zoned as a residential area. And that's the reason I bought the property. The road is narrow, it's dirt, I knew that. I'm not opposed to it now. I like the country feeling. That's the reason I moved to Meriwether County in 1974. The current person here that's trying to change his zoning on the property has lived there on the road approximately 5 years. He came there with a purpose of starting a business and having a resident at the same location. He violated our zoning laws for approximately 5 years. That wasn't right. I talked to the man 3 or 4 years ago about his equipment and his trucks blocking the road. Several times I would try to go out the road. He'd have the road blocked. It's a narrow road. You have a hard time getting to fire trucks to pass on that road. He and his girlfriend, I talked to both of them about the what was going on and asked them if they could be better neighbors. My wife was laying in the bed with the COVID. We couldn't get her into a hospital. Every hospital in the south of Atlanta wouldn't take any patients. And I was having to take care of myself with Dr. Cunningham in Warren Springs, tutoring me and me taking care of my wife. They run 4-wheelers up and down the road 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, wake my sick wife up. Just hadn't been good neighbors. I couldn't see them running a good business there. I was a policeman in the metropolitan line area for 30 years. And I know the zonings, I know the laws and this and that, and I know you folks didn't have any ability to do anything about the speeding up and down the road and the noises they're creating. But I'm just telling you, if they'd been better neighbors, we probably wouldn't even be here today. I believe in the person having property and having private property rights. But I moved there for a reason, to live, pay my taxes on time, and die when it comes time. And I just don't think we ought to zone that for a business. The road is narrow. Alton Road is a dangerous, narrow road. When I moved down to Meriwether County in 1974, you could sit in the middle of the road out there for a period of time with no traffic. Go out there now at 6 o'clock in the morning, you get run over. It's 498 feet from Alton Road to where you lose visibility. Traffic coming out of the west, going to the east. In the mornings, you meet that sunshine in your eyes. You can't see nothing hardly. Back in the late 70s, my sister got hit head on down there. Stayed in the body cast for a year before she recovered. It's just a dangerous road. It's a country built residential road. And they patch the holes weekly. The same holes are knocked out by big trucks. And I know that's not y'all's problem, that's the sheriff. And by the way, we have an excellent sheriff. They do a good job. I'm not critical of us. I'm just telling you, the area doesn't constitute having a truck business on it. And I beg that you look at this thing real closely. Because there are laws called, if you approve something and later you have fatalities on there, you have some obligation there to recognize the danger on that road. It is dangerous, doesn't it? I ran radar in Fulton County, Clayton County, DeKalb for 23 years. I can look at a car and I'll guess probably between 5 and 8 miles of the speed limit. And we have cars that run 60, 70 miles an hour down the morning. It's dangerous. So I'd like to live my life out in a residential area. You crank big trucks up in the morning, you got the diesel smoke and the noise. They're talking about putting a shop in. And there's some people that live within 40 feet of where he's gonna put the shop in. it's not a, in my opinion, it's not a good location to rezone. Thank you, and I appreciate you letting me stand here and speak.
Have we got anybody else who would like to speak?
Hold some,
If you would
And-
give us your name and address.
yes, Gary Buchanan, 1868 Alverton Road. I own 60 acres right there on the corner built on Alverton Road. My home is approximately 50 yards from where they want to put their business. There's been a noise. They shooting guns 2:30 in the morning, as a previous speaker said, racing up and down Bill Todd Road on four-wheelers. This has been zoned low density residential. I don't see why we should allow a person to come in with the amount of equipment that he has and force it on the neighborhood. Just not right. I printed some information off the internet on his website. If I'd like to give the commissioners each one of those. This is public information. You can go into Campbell's Tree Service on the internet and pull up the same things I've printed.
Thank you, sir.
So I honestly don't think we should even be looking at putting a commercial business into a residential area. Alverton Road has become more residential in the last 5 years. There's new homes coming in. Up behind the event center, man's bought that piece of property. He's gonna build 36 homes up in there. So, this is strictly residential area. And we're entitled to peace and quiet and a good neighborhood.
These were taken off reviews of his business, right?
Yes, and to further your information, this website that they got onto, their provider does not allow changes or deletions. So once somebody posts something on there, it's on there forever. And like I say, you can pull up the same information. It's public record, so I think as the commissioners, your duty is to provide the neighborhood a safe place to live, a quiet neighborhood like it has been for years. And I just don't think we should even consider this or extend the meetings. You changed the meeting to this time in the morning. And we had several neighbors that have jobs they can't leave, so they couldn't attend and speak against this like they would like to. One of the neighbors to this property he's trying to rezone is Maggie Samuels. She's an African American lady. Her home is 40 feet from where all this racket goes on every time they try to get together and go out for the day's work. Their equipment has these beeping alarms when they're in motion. You hear that? So that's about all I got to say. The rest is up to you guys.
Well, thank you for your time. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak?
Hi, Commissioners. My name's Raylene Buchanan. Gary is my husband. I live at 1868 Alverton Road, and I want to hit on some things that he didn't. I oppose this rezoning. It's a shame one person can disrupt a whole neighborhood. And that's what this person has done. We've got neighbors all around him that don't want this rezoned. Like my husband said, they couldn't be here because most of them work. I guess we're speaking for them also. We had brought this before our commissioner that we had before Gene King about 3 years ago. He said he'd looked into it. Nothing was done. So then we got Gene King in. I voted for him and got him in, and he looked into it, and this is where we're at now. I know it took a few years, and this little guy, Brandon, bragged, how come it took so long for them to do something? Well, this is why, because we started off right when he started with all the, and he gradually got bigger and bigger. When he first come there, he had a truck and maybe a chipper, and that was it. But then he got bigger and bigger. He actually got to the point where he had 4 derelict ambulances sitting on his property. Everybody could see it. Everybody could hear it. 3 o'clock in the morning, New Year's Eve, somebody at their house was out shooting a gun, sound like a cannon. I went out on my porch, and it was their property. In the middle of the night, I've heard beeping going on. I've heard clanging of metal like they're working on a truck or something, chipping. And I don't know how you could chip when it's dark. That, to me, that's dangerous, but they've been chipping. That's very noisy. And where we're at, it's like an echo. Everybody hears it. If you're outside, you hear it. And then again, they block Bill Todd Road when they're coming and going, have no consideration. And he's got a gang of guys that work for him. And I don't know what kind of characters they are, but they're very mouthy. They're very rowdy, hollering, screaming, carrying on in the morning. No consideration for the neighbors, none at all. Now, if this was in a commercial, it wouldn't bother anybody, but it's residential. And a lot of us are retired, some of us sick, and we hear all of this going on. Since y'all made him pull his equipment from that property, it has been godly quiet. It's been a blessing. The 4-wheelers on Bill Todd Road, one of them didn't have a muffler. It was very loud. We've lived there approximately 20 plus years. Never had that problem. This house and properties had, I think, 3 owners since we've been there. All good people until this young man got in there. He just acts like he's entitled to do whatever he wants to do. If a neighbor tries to talk to him, all you get is smart mouth. I don't know what all that's about, but he needs to learn to live with people, not against them. Let's see what else. And, you know, we've tried to be good neighbors with him. He got in an accident with his chainsaw, almost lost his eye. I mean, we were to the point where we were all praying for him. He's a young man that he got over this. Also, their horses got out a couple of times. We called them up, called them, and they finally come and got him. So we've tried to be good neighbors, but we don't get it in return. We get a lot of belligerence. I implore you, please do not rezone this property. Leave it as it is. He bragged he had made so much money since he's been there. If he's done that, why doesn't he take all this money that he's so proud of and go buy 2 commercial acres somewhere? And, he can live there, that's fine. It's the racket and the commotion that he causes. But if he would take that money he's proud of, I'm proud for him that he can make it and go somewhere and get commercial. That would be the solution to the problem, not rezoning this piece of property. And excuse me, I think I've talked enough. I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? If I may, at this time, I'd like to share.
Oh, if y'all want to, I'm sorry.
I need to share some stuff with the commissioners too that I have firsthand knowledge on. I reached out to this gentleman and when all the phone calls came to me and the complaint, so I wanted to find out what was going on. When I called and talked to him about running his business there, he assured me that he was not running a business there. He was just parking equipment there, excess equipment. And he said he's parking it there. So if the county ever had an emergency and he could help out, it'd be ready, accessible. And told me he's based out of Peachtree City and that he's renting property from Mr. John Profit. And I just happen to know John Profit and poured concrete for them for years. Said his business license is in Peachtree City. So I said, I'll get back with you. So anyhow, when I contact Peachtree City's business license, he has not had a business license there in 2 years. So he's been working from out here without a business license. Then when I asked him exactly what the address is that you're renting from Mr. John Profit for all your equipment, and he said, why? And I said, well, I would love to go over there and take a picture of all your equipment there and show the board and the community that you are based out of Peachtree City. And then, that would help you with your situation. He said, well, that'll be a problem right now. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, right now I'm parking all the equipment at my house because people keep stealing my stuff. So I said, well, okay. So I contacted John Profit, and John Profit let me know that over 2 years ago, when he bought a place in Meriwether County, he no longer rented from him and moved all of his equipment to Meriwether County. So this individual has been running a business for the last 2 to 3 years without a Peachtree City license, without a Meriwether County license, and operating out of his home, as some of these homeowners have called and spoke with me. When I asked him how come he didn't have a business license, that he told me he did. He said, oh, that's right. Since COVID, they didn't send me a renewal. So I said, well, that was 2.5 years ago we dealt with the COVID. So I'm just giving you an idea. I try to work with the gentleman, but it seems like every outlet I turn to, I'm being misled or being played. I don't know what word you want to use on it, but he hasn't been straightforward and truthful with me as a commissioner too, when I was trying to reach out to help both sides to see if we could, that's my job, is to try to protect them as citizens and the citizens, and hopefully we all come together with a good solution. So that's where I'm at this time. We did go into this. I want to ask you, Nathan, we did come into this we opened this hearing and they chose not to be here. Under the research too, if it was even to be thought to be changed, the way his property lays, he does not have enough room for the setbacks that would require the buffer and so forth for this equipment. So can we take action today, even though he's not here, or will we have to?
No, sir. Once it's properly advertised, then it's the board's discretion whether y'all want to continue it or not. So y'all complied with the law. You've held the public hearing. So your options now are to continue the public hearing at the request of the applicant.
Or take action
to a specific, or to close the public hearing and take action. Those are your options.
That's all I can give to the commissioners. If anybody got any questions for me of what I just discussed.
Where's the summary from the Planning and Zoning Committee in their recommendation of this case?
They recommend denial.
Why is that not in here? Like the other?
Because I didn't sit here because they had asked for continuance. I didn't realize that we would be.
It was.
Y'all don't get a lot of
recommendation.
rezoning, so it's kind of, there's a lot of herky jerky laws that the legislature put on us that we got to follow. Write your legislatures. I don't like them either, but so that's why it's a little unusual, but y'all can continue it. You have no obligation to continue, but you can continue.
The recommendation from the planning and zoning was to deny it.
Well, I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
What's up?
I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second. All in favor? Thank you. All right, we're back into regular meeting. We're out of the public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to take action or make a motion on this situation? If not, I'd like to make a motion that is denied at this time. It is in my district. I know what all I've dealt with. I know what the homeowners have dealt with. I've seen the property. It's not a prime spot for commercial. I wish him the best, and I wish it was big enough property. He could go way back to the back and it'd all be hid and quiet. But I don't think it's going to serve the purpose for the community. And it was not recommended in y'all's last comprehensive thing when y'all was trying to figure out where should we have commercial and non-commercial. So I'll make a motion this time that this is denied.
I'll second that based on the fact that he didn't bother to show up for the hearing.
Motion second, all in favor? Thank you. We'll move right on to number 3. Case number 2023-003, Charles Hudson, request to sell wine and beer. The parcel is 1.97 acres known as tax map 133-03801. And we have a motion to go into a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are now in a public hearing. Go ahead, Ms. Cassandra.
All right, this case number 2023-003 for Charles Hudson is to request to sell beer and wine at his property location of tax map 133-038-001 in the Riley area. But Mr. Hudson had a conflict with today's meeting and was unable to attend, and he asked for a continuation. The Planning Commission had voted for recommendation of approval, but he does not have current business license, nor does he have a current building remodel permit.
Thank you. Is there anybody here to speak about the rezoning? All right. We'll make a motion and go back in.
Same drill. Y'all can continue the public hearing or y'all can close the public hearing and take action.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Now that we're back, as you stated, Cassandra, that he does not have a standing business license at this time.
At this time, he does not.
And
He's in the process of remodeling the building, so he's kind of jumped the gun.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. And plus two, for him to have the beer and wine license, he has to be serving food.
Correct.
And he's not doing it this time. So I'd like to make a motion that we denied it this time for the fact that there's not even an established restaurant there. Kind of redundant to approve a beer and wine license. He doesn't even have a business license. So I think we're just wasting some time here. So I'll make a motion to deny this and for those reasons.
Well, do we need to deny it or do we need to move it?
It's up to you guys.
Well, I mean, if we deny it, can he?
You can always reapply.
What I'm saying is when he's got an actual business there and he's
You're not-
serving food, then he should come in and say, I'd like to have a beer and wine license.
He's not precluded from applying. It just
Okay,
sounds
so
like
you
right
make a
now he
motion.
doesn't meet your
We're
order.
making a motion, we deny it until he gets a business license.
That's what I'm saying. We
Come
deny
back
it.
and reapply. when it's-
Okay.
And also our ordinance requires that food is being served. So he would need to go through the health department and have all that certification as well as be ready to serve.
Because since it requires advertising and so forth, if we just said continue to the next meeting and next meeting and next meeting until he has a business license, he's open,
That's right.
we're just
I
going
would,
to,
yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
no. So somebody want to make the motion or
Made the
Made
motion.
the motion.
Second the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Then we can vote.
all right. I thought since we started talking about it, that kind of mine went away. We're going to start all over. Okay, that kicks me. All right. We'll move right on to number 4 on our list. It's case number 2023-004, Sandra and Jamie Tingner. Request to rezone 2.0 acres from RD to RD special use for the use of a family cemetery. The parcel is known as tax map 035-030-004. We have a motion to go into a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? We're now in a public hearing. Are they?
Okay, all right, Ms. Tigner is here today with us, and she and her brother have come before and brought an application. They own several acres of land out on Branch Hebron Road. And they are requesting to rezone 2 acres of the property for a family cemetery. Normally you only have to have 1 acre for the cemetery, but I went out there myself, there is a lot of big rock. And so majority of the front part of that area cannot be dug into. So the cemetery would actually be more toward the back of that 2 acres. There is a plat recorded for that 2 acres. And the planning commission did recommend approval of the 2 acres for the family cemetery. And Ms. Tigner is here.
Morning, I'm Sandra Jimmy. Need my address? 3335 Odessa Road, Greenville, Georgia. We want to do a cemetery. We have 40 some acres. It's a lot of rock, so for some people that might be a large amount, but it's really rock, and it's just something we want to do. We really want to honor my dad by having his remains moved from Branch Hebron Cemetery to our family cemetery, and I got 5 brothers and 4 of them don't have a place to be buried, so that's just what we want to do. Any questions, comments?
None at all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We got a motion to go out of the public hearing.
Ask if anybody else.
Oh, is there anybody here to speak on behalf of the cemetery?
Or against it?
Okay,
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
all in favor? All right, we're now back in our regular meeting out of the public hearing. Do we have a motion from the floor?
Make a motion that we approve Ms. Tigner's request for the 2 acre
Second.
parcel.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Thank you, ma'am. I did the same thing years ago on my farm, so I'm proud for you to do it.
Work on this and work.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate this.
All right, next on the agenda is appointments. Do we have any appointments? No. Okay. And we'll move right on to unfinished business. Number 1, a request from Lake Meriwether Advisory Board to purchase a storage building for Lake Meriwether.
Working on it, and I want to table that to May the 10th. To the first meeting in May.
Want to put that in motion?
I make a motion. to Table it to May 10th.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you, Commissioner. All right, so we'll move right on down to new business. Number 1, we got Mayor Ruth Nash requests us for assistance, and she is here to speak. Ms. Nash?
Mayor Ruth Nash. I live at 19090 Highway 85, Gay, Georgia. I'm here to request that y'all continue the mowing inside the city. 2 weeks, from 2 weeks till the fair time, each fair every year. We had an agreement and that agreement was broken. I was just told we're not doing any more mowing inside the city. That fair affects a lot of people in this county. And there's no way the city can afford to buy a tractor and have someone to mow. Our budget is 52,000 for 60,000 now for our general fund, 60,000 for our water, which can only be used for water. And I need the roads to the wells and around the cemetery mowed twice a year. And then all the property outside of, inside the city, and clean the roads like you have always done. And I'd like for y'all to make a motion today because the fair is just 2 weeks away, and vote on it today so I can know how to move forward.
What is the agreement you speak that we had and has now been broken? by?
We have always had an agreement, but when we did our not this lost, present lost negotiations, that was in the lost negotiations, but it was ended before the lost ended. And I mean, I was just told, period, nothing inside the city of Gay. And, you know, we go above and beyond trying to help the county. We really do. We've moved our water lines 3 different times in 3 different directions. And I'm also going to request for another approval to move water lines, extend them about another mile on Oakland Road. We had extended them on the left side, but then for some reason, y'all had told the people that have that little church in the triangle that they couldn't build on that property because there's no it's all right of way. And next thing I know, they're building onto that building that's there, and they built over our water lines. And so now we need to go to the right of the road and extend it another mile.
You say that twice a year, but who's mowing the grass inside the city limits the rest of the year? Because grass grows. I have to mow my yard twice a week. So if you're asking twice, y'all don't have no way to mow it, but you're asking the county for do it twice a year.
Right.
How's it getting mowed and taken care of other than that?
It doesn't. Basically, it does not. And I noticed y'all have tractors in town right now, but I hadn't, over the weekend, I noticed them, but I hadn't seen them move. So I don't know because I had called and asked, but I don't know if y'all are planning to do this or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with the public works part and Barry, but I do know in the past, the county has, even before I became commissioner, the county has always helped out. It's a big event and so forth. But my conversation I had with Public Works the other day, if they could get it done, fine, but, or at least my opinion, but we're dealing with so much right now from the tornadoes and the
Okay.
flooding
Mhm.
that the grass is not priority. And I don't mean that in a disrespect.
I
I'm
know.
just saying, we're short on help. We got people can't even get up and down dirt roads. And I don't want to, even though that brings revenue and it brings people to our county, we want to give a presence. So, you know, my opinion would be on it. If they have time to figure out a way to cut it and the board agreed with it, yes. But if it's keeping them from taking care of these other crises we have right now, because Michelle, we got 7, 8 roads that are out. Our hands are full and we don't have enough help. We're like 7 or 8 employees shy. So.
And I understand that.
I don't want to make a motion, have one of the board members make a motion to do it and tell them you better get it done. We said to do it when they're strapped. So, Michelle, you want to?
Mayor Nash, is this on state routes?
Part of it is, and the state usually mows that.
Okay.
But then I had a roadside meeting with DOT the other day because I was going up 85 highway and there they were all there. Looked like they were puzzled. So I stopped to see if I could help them. And right there at the fire station, the drain is stopped up. And it's been stopped up for quite a while. In fact, Sandy Garrett tried to help us with that, but it's not happening.
That's on the state highway. Right. So that's going to be their.
Well, they say it's our responsibility, y'all's responsibility. I don't see that, but.
Not when they got the right of way down both sides and we can't touch it, can't even do a curb cut unless we ask for forgiveness and permission at the same time. So.
Exactly.
I would say
But I
that's
mean,
their
you know, we're
problem.
talking about GDOT, but, and if y'all dealt with them, you know what I'm talking about. And the other thing too, down on, right at Magnolia Road, that drain has been stopped up for probably 10 years and it's washing out Magnolia Road, and that's on their right of way also. Excuse me, but I hadn't seen them do anything about that.
Well, that's on their right of way too, but it's in our county. I think Administrator Michelle she's making notes now. I think she can reach out and try to get something done with it, but that won't be our department.
And I'd just like to say one thing. I know I was on the zoning board for 22 years, and this thing about cemeteries is coming up more and more often. The thing about it is, when that property is sold, and if there's one grave there, it's gonna be a big problem for anybody that wanted to do something else with that property. So think about that.
Well, what you got to think about on that, when the homeowner owns it then and they want to bury the kinfolk or the family
No
there.
doubt.
I had one on my last farm. It has 100-year. Word I'm looking for, but when you put it there, even if they sell the property and leave, they have
I
a
know.
right to come visit that grave for the next 100 years. And after that, they probably won't want to come no more. But
We
people
have
that buy
one,
that property knows that cemetery's there. So that would be, instead of denying someone not to have a cemetery, that would be the person purchased property where they can work around it and fence it off and respect that person laying there, because
yeah, I know, and we've had one, we have a cemetery on our property, but it's not our cemetery. And we have always allowed people to come in and do whatever. But I'm saying, we're gonna have tiny little cemeteries all over the county, and it's gonna be a problem for people in the future.
Is this
Think
part
about
of-
it, in other
is this
words.
part of the request for assistance?
Pardon?
Is this part of the request for assistance?
No, I just wanted, I've already made that request, and I'm asking for y'all to
Already had
vote on.
that discussion and asked for opposition, so what do we need to do on item 1 here to move along with the agenda?
what's the board want to do on it?
I don't think the board should do anything on it, in my opinion, except maybe accommodate meeting and setting up some sort of agreement again, as was in the past. Not our responsibility at this point, but the Gay Fair is a big draw to the community. It's a chance to showcase our county. We want it to look good and be presentable. I think we should do whatever we can to make it look good on short notice here, but if we can't, to your point, there's emergencies going on. And I think we should work with Gay to find out, is there a way that we can consolidate resources to help this, all the time? But right now, I don't think it's an urgent matter we need to dive into and make a motion for it. My opinion.
Well, I agree. That's the same thing I was saying, that if the county has time to do it and we can get it done to help out, it does make us look good. 30,000 people come through there. But if we don't have it, I don't want us to obligate something and then we're just neglecting, trying to repair this ditch and this road over here because we now got to get over and get the grass mowed. So
Vice Chair and Board, I would like to add that the Fire and Emergency Services also serves during the entire fair. They are always present there, so there are some good things in county attendance there as well.
We actually pay the fire and the police department to be there. We pay them $25 an hour, in fact, each person.
Danny, you're saying, shaking your head.
I haven't seen that. I've asked for that.
Oh, we pay it. It was $4,300 last fair. For
Mr.
the-
Gregory,
Fire and the police, sheriffs. Deputy,
There was $4,300 paid at the last fair.
yes.
Does anybody know where that?
Mr. Gregory said he does not have record of that.
I don't recall it. I'll have to go back and look. It came to the county. It came to the individuals.
That's right. It does go to the individual.
What's that?
People have never been paid by it.
And we do.
We
pay overtime.
give that to the
That's last year.
fire.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Well, yeah. Whatever goes on forward, let's try to make sure everything's taken care of, but.
But it's like we have April the 12th, we have a meeting with Brian, but I don't think Brian's already said he won't be able to be there, but somebody be representing, and the sheriff department will be there. That meeting's already set up. And we do pay them what we pay for the fire, we pay to the fire department. But what we pay to well, Brian, you're shaking your head, but you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Figured out.
All right, if we could, can we get somebody here to make a motion one way?
What
or the other?
motion did Adam make?
There is no
I
motion.
think we should make a motion. I think we just end the discussion. She asked for assistance. Right now, we're saying we can if we will. There's no motion to be made.
Well, we could have a motion to do it if it's possible, if there's not something else that is more important.
Staff had already said that's what they were going to do.
Correct.
That's what I don't understand.
There.
But the staff has already said that they would if they could.
That is
So
correct.
they got their answer.
But I don't think it needs to be an action on the board. Then I think they seriously and honestly, if they can get over there to help out, they're gonna do it because
Okay.
but we just can't, we don't want to put a motion here and then y'all come back and go,
Well, I'm,
you said you
know,
would do it and we can't do it.
yeah, I understand that. Okay, and I also want to thank all of y'all for your service. I know it's thankless. So I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for coming.
May I add one more thing?
Please do.
Mr. Jones, Bryn Jones just said that he got in touch with GDOT and they will be sending their engineers out today to check on those drains.
That's great. That's great.
You're right. GDOT will not let you touch their right.
And had y'all,
Tell me, that's not.
I know, but have you reached out to the county about getting GDOT involved on those? Or you just been,
That's what I'm doing. I'm asking you.
well, now, but it's been like that for years, what I'm saying. So, okay. Okay. All right, we'll move on. Number 2, under new business, set work session for April 25th, 2023 at 4:00 PM to discuss county business.
This is just a work session for the commissioners, starting at 4 o'clock before our 6 o'clock meeting. We'd like to set that. We've discussed it at the past 2 meetings. We just would like to set the date.
Fine. Good.
And by setting the date, we'll go ahead and advertise.
That is
as well
correct.
as set the
Advertise.
agenda.
And set the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
So with that, I make a motion that we go ahead and set the work session for April 25th at 4 PM.
Second.
All in favor? It's passed. We move on to number 3, request to purchase a new zero-turn mower for the public works to replace an older mower that is inoperable.
Mr. Cawthorn is here to go over that. It is in your packet as well. There's information on it. The staff recommendation is to approve the purchase from Absolute Mower in the amount of $7,922. You will find all the quotes attached. Mr. Cawthorn?
Yes, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. If you have any questions, they're in dire need of another mower. They've had 2 20-year-old Kubotas. They've just completely worn out and they've rebuilt them several times. So we're making a request to purchase 1 zero-turn, and they have one that was purchased last year, Bill? Or year before?
Yes.
Mr. Bill, this is in the budget. There's enough money to do that.
We can cover this in the capital, in the general fund and the capital improvement line. It's below 10. Usually if it's below 10,000, we handle it that way. If it's above 10,000, I asked maybe handle it through SPOS. So the general fund can take care of this.
Okay. And there's not a public works budget that has this set up.
No.
This has to come before the board for approval.
That's it again. So.
It was, I think it was sort of an emergency need that they didn't anticipate.
I'm curious also is, thank you, the budget money's there, but why would this decision come to the board to purchase a loan for the county?
It's above $5,000, so it's better for us to bring it to the board. It's not specifically in the budget for a lawnmower, but there are funds for those kind of purchases, but we like to bring it to the board for their approval. If it's over 5,000.
Just, it makes us feel better, CYA.
Well, actually, the purchasing policy states it that way.
It does, okay, so there's some things I'm not familiar with, that's why I'm asking the question. It seems to me a lot of things are frustrating to me being new that we're delaying some actions, simply cutting grass, right? How many phone calls do we get because the grass is high at the courthouse possibly? And we waited 2 weeks to buy something that was in the budget and people had authority to do. So I want to make sure we're taking those actions and not getting permission.
Specific line item for that piece of equipment or whatever in the budget that y'all approve, then we wouldn't wait. We go ahead and purchase it.
But there's nothing in the budget. I mean, looking now to next year, you don't know specifically what will fail, what you'll need new.
Correct.
There should be an amount in the budget that they have the autonomy to go and do without a special 2 weeks, 4 weeks waiting on the board to make that adjustment.
There is, but that also falls under, I only have up to 5,000 authorization.
Okay, that's probably.
So that's why it's, yes.
I can get with Bill and Michelle, and we can look at next year's budget and capital request and try to have it already on there. Sometimes you have some emergency.
And I want to put as much authority things back in you guys' hands. We make decisions and make things work, but don't have to wait on us. And you're the expert. You know what you need. You have the money to do it.
Anybody has any other
I'm
questions?
trying to find the copy in here I see several of them in here, but let me ask you, because I have several zero mowers. it needs to be a commercial grade mower. I don't know of one you can buy for $7,000. Most commercial grades start from anywhere from $12,000 to $17,000. If
All-
it's not a
all of-
commercial grade, it's just going to be wore out in no time.
All of these are the entry level commercial grade mowers. I looked into that to make sure it wasn't a residential model.
Yeah, no, because the
And I
difference
think,
is the
you know-
steel plate, the heavy dutiness, the bearings, the gears and all that. And
Yes.
with kind of employees, you never know who's on it and running it and what all they're
It's
hitting.
got the safety rocks. Most of the residential don't come standard with the safety rocks on them. There's a John Deere in here, there's a Skag. All of these are the entry level commercial mowers.
The one you recommended, the Bobcat, it's got what, a 3-year, 1,000-hour warranty or something?
It had a little more warranty. Everybody had the 3-year and most of the other vendors had 3-year 500. The Bobcat had a 3-year 1,000. And I think the John Deere had a 3-year 1,500. But the John Deere was 10,000 something.
About it or something.
What brand are we looking at?
The Bobcat.
Bobcat?
Yes. I went and looked at the mower at the dealer and I feel like it's a really good mower.
Bobcat's a good mower.
I wasn't familiar with it, so I went to Noonan to this Absolute and looked at that mower on the showroom floor.
I make a motion, we approve the Bobcat.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm thinking Absolute, I'm sorry. But that's the name of the company.
All righty, we'll move right on to number 4, approval to purchase a new tire changing machine due to unavailability of the approved one during the March 28, 23 board meeting. I remember we had approved to purchase one. I guess that one's no longer available. So we're having to do the same process. So,
Public Works went through the routine again and came up with two that they looked at. One of them won't change the small tires, but it'll do the big tires. But the one they recommend is the 6,749, which will do the small tires and the bigger tires. And it's,
Well, I looked at both of them. I'm familiar with tire changes. Both of them are exactly the same. It's size tires they'll do. So I recommend we approve the Coach 45, the lower one for the county, because they won't be changing, that many tires. But I looked at the specs on both of them and I think they both change the same size tires.
is that your motion?
So I make a motion, we approve the Coach 45.
Second. All in favor?
You're abstaining.
Not in favor.
Got to talk opposed.
Opposed.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving right on to number 5, the LGRMS Safety Action Plan discount form and update.
This is annually done, and this is to allow assistance with LGMRS and our safety plan. This is just something that we need the board to authorize the chair to sign. I'm sorry.
Have any questions from the board?
It provides a discount to the county as well as safety programs.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the LGRMS Safety Action Plan. So, and allow the chairman to sign.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And chairman to sign.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Number 6, Coweta Judicial Circuit Split Request and Resolution.
We've received a request from the judicial system, Coweta Judicial System. Right now, it currently is 5 counties, Meriwether, Troop, Carroll, Heard, and Coweta. This will, what they are looking to do is to do a split that will allow Troop, Meriwether, and Coweta as one circuit and providing a new circuit for Heard and Carroll. This is just a resolution that needs to be executed by the chair for our support in the split of the circuit.
All right. Do we have any discussion or questions from the board?
just confirm with Nathan, from what I understand and all, this actually is, we're supporting this resolution, but it's actual, have to go through the state legislature.
That's correct. So in order, this has been being talked about since I've been a lawyer. Because the population keeps growing, you know, and particularly in Coweta and Coweta and Carroll. And, but you got the same DA, same judges covering that whole 5-circuit area. And, so it would require an act of the legislature to actually split the circuits. And so the district attorney and some of the judges have been working. I think one of the sheriffs, maybe Carroll, have been working on this, and they're asking the county commissioners of the various counties to execute resolutions in support of them. So when they go up to the legislators, they can say, here's, you know, because each county provides a supplement to the judges and the DA, I believe. It's a separate one for each. So y'all got skin in the game. And they believe that the DAs and the judges believe this is going to be a cost savings and a service improvement measure. And I'm sure if y'all wanted more information, they'd be glad to come talk to you about it, particularly the district attorney. So, but yes, at the end of the day, it's up to the state whether they'll do it or not.
I make a motion, we support this.
Second.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor? Carries. All right, number 7, countywide liquor sales. I've had a few store owners call and want to know why they can be a liquor store in Luthersville and liquor store in Greenville, Woodbury. But when you start getting out the larger areas of the county and north end of the county, there's not. Most of our citizens are all traveling up to the new one in Sonoa, and there's one on Highway 16 and Spalding and so forth. So it kind of made me wonder about the sales tax and revenue that we could be losing, or we are losing out on. And they're store owners and want to know, what do we have to do? So I found out that this has to take a board of action to have County Attorney Nathan look into it and so forth, and actually becomes on a ballot, I think, because voted by citizens, not just our decision.
That's correct. So if this board was interested in putting, you want package stores is what you're talking about, not liquor by the drink, but package, either or.
So we already have, I think, liquor by the drink if a restaurant came in here with food, I
I
think.
think we have beer and wine.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just saying, but it's.
This is strictly for a package store.
The reason I asked is a little bit different. Yeah, so if this board is in favor of doing that, if y'all would authorize me to, I don't want to start looking at the law. I've done this several times, but I still got to get the law out and look at it. But I don't want to do it if the board isn't in favor of it. So I think Gene was wanting to see if y'all are in favor of it, then I'll just authorize me to look at it and I'll bring you something back. But yes, y'all would have to vote to put it on. I don't think y'all are ready to vote to put it on a referendum yet. I still look at the law, but you're right. Whoever said that, Gene, I believe, sorry, Vice Chair, y'all would vote to put it out a referendum, and then the citizens of the county would decide.
After you come back to us.
That's right. So I would come back to you guys and say, okay, if y'all want to do this, here's the resolution. And y'all would pass the resolution. We'd send it to Patty. Patty get it on the ballot, just like any other, matter. And then the citizens vote on it. And y'all, it's out of y'all's hands. Y'all are stuck with whatever the citizens want to do.
That's a great way to do it. And with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we allow our attorney Nathan to proceed with the legalities of it and come back with a resolution for us to look at.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? I passed. Thanks, sir. All right, we'll go right on to a report from County Administrator.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to congratulate our Tax Commissioner Deanne for being sworn in for a term of March 23rd through December 31st, 2024. This was done on Monday. Her and Jody Temporo were sworn in as Tax Commissioner and Deputy Tax Commissioner. Also want to let you know that the Executive Director for Three Rivers has been selected. It's Mr. Mark Butler, and he has started that role. GDOT is proposing a roundabout at the interstate in Hogansville. They're only proposing it at this point in time, and they are asking for feedback. So I'll make sure that I get a copy of all of that to you so that you can provide any kind of feedback you might want to. And we'll try to get that out on the, definitely out in the comprehensive plan meetings, so folks will know about it, and anyone that wants to provide comments can do so. Diverse Power is in the process of getting broadband to the airport. Matthew Brown with IT is working on getting that done, so we're working on that. I sent you all the closed roads. That has not changed. It is on our social media platforms, but I'll go over it just for record keeping sake. River Cove Road is closed, Reeves Road is closed, Jimmy Clark is closed, Dukes Waldell is closed, Oakland Road closed, Harmon Road Bridge at Dallas Mill Road is closed. Waddell Road is closed, Seven Branches Road is closed, and Silver Street. And this is all due to the severe storms that we had a couple weekends ago. There is a lot of good things happening in the county. Baseball, softball is getting started up, so we'll get that calendar on our website as well. You also have a packet of all of the happenings in Meriwether County and around. Coming up today is the dedication celebration and memorial at Little Springs Amphitheater in Warm Springs. The program begins at 2:30. There'll be speakers and a tribute, as well as the retirement of the US flags this afternoon. Spring Fling Festival is the 15th and 16th, and that is the Warm Springs merchants that are sponsoring that. I know Commissioner Plant has talked about Keep Meriwether Beautiful. That's coming up. Just a reminder on that. We also have Peaches in the Pine, the Cotton Fair. The Cotton Fair is May 6th and 7th, and Peaches in the Pine is June 10th. So these are just lots of happenings that are coming up. There is one other that I'm sorry, I skipped that page, but it's the Finish Line Festival Walkathon, and that's presented by Meriwether County NAACP, and that's April 29th, 23 at Luthersville City Hall. We'll get all this information out on social media platforms as well. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Any questions for the administrator?
I'd just like to thank the county employees again and all the staff and all y'all commissioners for doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there's a couple of them, extras that I'm gonna throw in there on events in case we don't have enough to do. But I do want to, encourage everyone to participate in Keep Meriwether Beautiful. That's coming up on April the 22nd. And, that's quite a bit of information out there and teams, and also, the school board's having a job fair on April the 25th, Tuesday from 1 to 5. And this is for staffing opportunities, and also they're encouraging everyone to come out. If you need a job, they're hiring. There's another an event, and I thought Brian would be here to kind of shed light on this, but there's a Celebrate Community Action Month for a community health fair in Manchester, and I believe he's either participating or will be there, and it's from 11 to 2. And there again, there's a lot of opportunities on the health fair. So I believe that may be on the website as well. I'm not sure, but I believe that's going to be it without being redundant. But thank you for all the county employees and the work that's being done. And I know there's still a lot of work to be done on the roads and all. So hopefully we'll get some dry weather and sunshine and not another 8 to 10 inches. So, but we may be begging for it before the summer's over with. But anyway, thank y'all for everything you do.
Madam.
Just to reiterate, thankful for everyone, their hard work, what's going on in the county. We have good weather, don't have any more issues, and get them resolved. I just appreciate what everyone's doing. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I made a note on this, and I meant to bring up April the 15th from 1 to 4, Artisans on the Square. We'll have 20 professional artists here in the county that will be painting that week, and their event from 1 to 4 there. It's the artist will be from Georgia and Florida, and there's a long list of them, but this is the 7th year of supporting art education in Meriwether County. So if you've never been, it's a good opportunity. Usually these artists, they come in and they're here for the week or days or whatever, but they're painting things around the county, and you can purchase this, the art, and it will be available there at, and Linda Wilburn can give you more information and all on it, but that again is April the 15th. And I know it's the same day as Spring Fling in Warm Springs, but it's a good event. So just wanted to share that.
And that's from 1 to 4.
1 to 4, April the 15th.
As far as what I've got to say, or my district, I've been working with Bill Cawthorn. I would like for this to be on part of our work session, coming up. The discussion, I was going to bring it up today, but the discussion we had, is I would like to see us look into, the miscellaneous subcontract on the road work. And what I'm getting at is, situation where there might be a 40-foot section, but it's just so tore up, cars can't drive through it. And I was happening to do a job by that job that day. So I didn't mind. I know I can't be working for the county, and I don't plan to work for the county, but we took the Bobcat, scraped that slush off, and they sent some rock over there, and in an hour's time, that spot's fixed. And through all this rain, that spot is still fixed and looks great. And then I had him go out to Chandler Way last week, was it? The last 30 feet from Chandler Way dirt road into a brand new paved road. It looked like it was harrowed under, hog rooted, plowed under. I think it's from the dump pollards or whoever does the dump route there. But I don't know how it got backfilled, but it was backfilled like was that yellow marble looking dirt. It's not going to dry out. It's not going to get hard and flatten out. It took 45 minutes to fix it. They actually got a skid steer over there, scraped it out, had rock there. The neighbors are like, they're calling, going, oh my God, this is the best it's ever been. And look, it didn't take that long. So what I'm hoping we can discuss on a work session is, I know major jobs have to be bidded out, but I'm hoping we can get it to where maybe Michelle could have a list of 4 or 5 local contractors who own skid steers, to where if Barry or Bill has to, they can help us get these road situations caught up, because we're taking care of the major stuff where we can call someone and go, hey, look, address is such and such. It's about a 40-foot span. When could you go over there and scrape that up, and we'll drop gravel and coordinate with you. And then basically, a couple $100, it's scraped and fixed, and we can't go out there and fix it for that kind of money. But I know it needs to be approved so where you can have that list of
On
people.
demand, so to speak. Yes.
Right.
That would be an emergency situation.
That's true too.
Yes and no. No, I wouldn't classify it as emergency. It's after the rain's gone, it's a beautiful day, but you go over there and the postmaster lady had to have someone pull her out of that one section. It can be fixed, but when you call and they go, well, look, our guys are down in Manchester area or way over here, we can't get it today. And it's fixing to rain again tomorrow. It's just be nice to know that you can pick up the phone with the option of 2 or 3 people and go, hey, are you available? And if they go, usually for example, I'm not, but you call Cowee Concrete and I go, well, I can have a guy there tomorrow at 2:00. Okay, well, we'll have the rock drop there at 2:30, 2:45, and then just got to send them some rock though. It might even get to the point where you can have someone go, I'll order a load of rock, scrape it, dress it up, bill goes out, make sure it's done properly, and then authorize the PO on it or something. But it's just miscellaneous expense that would not really cost us more money, because it's cost us more to send a crew out there to do it and can't get caught up. And this is just to help us get ahead with citizens until we have back full staff operations. I just think it's.
So what you're talking about is something like having on-demand vendors that we have
Vendors.
on file that are approved by the board, they're insured and everything is in place. We have the unit prices available, everything is set.
Put
So
a
it's
max
just
on it,
making a call.
it can't go over 500, but something to where Bill has to go out and authorize it and approve it. So we're not just going, hey, we fix this and these, but it's just where we don't have to bid it out.
Sure.
If that can be done. We don't need a homeowner to call and then go, we'll bid it out. And then we got to put it in the paper and wait 7. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that. And the other thing then too is still the dirt roads. I've asked Mr. Bill Cawthorn and to be working on this. It's time for us to put our dirt roads on our priority list and start knocking them out. And he agrees. The ditches have got to be cleaned out and the culvert pipes have got to be opened up. Over the years of motor grading and shoving the dirt, a lot of people call and I go out and look and they're right. The dirt just shoved right over the pipe. If water can't go out, it's got to back up on this side and then it washes the road out again. So, but the reason a list of priority roads, so we can start going down. So when somebody calls and says, I live on such and such road, you or him or somebody can look down that list and go, well, you know what? You're the 7th one in line. But we are coming that way. It might be a while, but you are on the list. So I would just like you do asphalt roads, but dirt roads, a list of priority that y'all think or he thinks that need to be addressed, and let's start spending the rest of this year.
Started
Sir?
the work session.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I've got a priority list already started.
Okay, awesome. Well, then, and then like all the others, thanks to the county for what they're doing and the great response last week for both of those jobs. I mentioned the people were ecstatic. They just couldn't believe it's fixed that quick, and it's really nice. So I thank everybody for that too. So I have nothing else to say. There's nothing else from any of the commissioners up here, then we get a report from county attorney.
Commissioners, I don't have anything for the board. This board has any questions.
All right. Do we have anything for executive session today?
Yes, we do have a need for executive session for pending litigation, real estate and personnel.
Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are now in executive, ma'am,
At 10:25.
at the time. At 10:25, we are now going into an executive section. Out of executive session, we'll have a motion to go back into regular session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye. We're now back in regular session. No action to be taken from the executive session and open regular session. So is there anything else that needs to be brought up or discussed, or we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All right.
Adjourn.